Shalom v'racha to everybody. I'm the plan for these videos, the next few videos, God willing, B'ezrat Hashem, is to give over sikumim, summarizations of the central nos'im merkazim, central subject matters on across all the simanim in Nidah, Hilchot Nidah. B'ezrat Hashem yibach. So I'm going to start now to try to give over central sikumim within 5-10 minutes. So I'm going to go, I'm going to go in order of the simanim. Siman Kuf Pe Gimal, which is the first siman in Hilchot Nidah. It's the most basic siman. How does somebody how does nidut work? How does zavut work? And how are we mitaches to nidah nowadays? What is the din nidut nowadays? Okay, so quick sikum, B'ezrat Hashem. First of all, we'll start with the pasuk. V'isha ki tiyeh zava, dam yeh zova bivsara, shivat yamim tiyeh b'nidata. From there, this is the pasuk in the Torah from which we learn the din of nidut. From here already, from the outset, the Torah brings us a few different dinim. Number one, the dam that comes out of a woman has to come from mikora. It cannot come from different parts of the body. From that we learn that there's a drasha that's learned up from Torah Kohanim. Also, another thing. That it has to be something that this dam, the second it comes out to the bet hachitzon, right? It doesn't need to come outside of the body in a way that we see it. As long as it fell to the bet hachitzon, she's also tmeah. That's mevor and daf mem amud aleph Mishnah. Another thing, we're constructing the din deoraita of nidut. She has to feel it. There has to be a hargasha. What is exactly hargasha? This is something that's really spoken about more. That's expanded upon more in Siman Kuf Pei. Kuf Tzadik Seif Aleph. But here they talk about it a little bit, that there has to be a certain type of hargasha. It's learned from a pasuk, Bivsara. This pasuk is brought down in Daf Nun Zayin Amud Bet, Perek HaKetem. Mamshechim hala, continuing. They also, this din applies even when she sees a tipa, even if it's a small amount. That's also learned from Daf Mem Amud Aleph, in Daf Mem Amud Aleph, in the Mishnah over there. It's been be'on, it's been beratzon, but it doesn't matter whether she made it come out on her own by force or it just happened naturally. That's a brayso in Daf Lamed Amud Beis. Moving on, the central idea here is how nidut works, how many days. So the way it works is like this. The Torah explains that the second a woman sees, for 7 straight days, including the day that she saw, she is tmeah. She's tmeah, and she could see blood as much as she wants for all those 7 days. That's a din that's mavor in Shas and Poiskim. The Beit Yosef brings tons of 3 different places in Shas and Poiskim that say it. After those 7 days, on the night of the 8th day, meaning the 7th day at night, only then she can be tovelet. She does a tvilah and she's tehora. She cannot do earlier than that. There are some different types of tumah in which you could do it earlier than that. Zavut, you could do it earlier than that. Why? Because there's a rule called miktzat hayom kekulo. Part of the day is like all the day. So if on the 7th day already, like bonagid by zava, which we'll get to soon, if she already counted her 7th day, she started counting her 7th day, already from the morning she counted a little bit of her 7th day, she could go and be tovelet, and she's tehora. So that it's also not so simple. There's different rules. But for nidah, there's nothing you could do. That's mevor in 2 or 3 different places in Shas, in Yuma, I think, also in Nidah, Zayin Amud Bet. Rashi brings sort of a drasha. He says, Tiyeh, Shivat Yamim Tiyeh B'nidata, Teheh Kol Hayamim B'nidata. All those days she has to be in Nidah. All those days. It's sort of a drasha. Okay, that's a din deoraita. After Yemei Nidut, she has 11 days of zivut. Where do we know that from? That's a halacha Moshe Misinai. That's in Nidah Daf Ayin Bet Amud Bet. Now we're going to talk about zavut. Yeah, we finished already the basic dinim and rules of nidut. A zava. What's a zava? So as we just introduced, after the 7 days of nidut, there's 11 days of zavut. During those days, if a woman sees blood, so first, if she sees it one day, within any of those 11 days, so she is a zava ktana, right? 1 day, also 2 days, I'll add. Right? That's learned out. All this is learned out from drashas in Torah Kohanim. Everything that I'm saying right now. And a zava ktana is called a shomeret yom keneged yom, meaning that if she sees 1 day or 2 days straight, she has to watch herself. She has to guard herself for another day, full day. Now, like we spoke out, besides Nida as azava, she just has to count a little bit of the day, and then she's good to go. Then she can be tovelet, and everything's okay. Meaning that, let's say she saw blood on a Sunday, it was within the 11 days of her zavut. Monday morning, she could go and be tovelet, and everything's good. She is tehora. Now, the Chazal, they put certain restrictions on that for certain reasons. As Mevor also in Daf Samech Zayin Mud Bet and Nida, the Rabbanan of Rabbi Shimon, they don't allow it. Why? Because if a person does such a thing, if a woman does such a thing, and then she is with her husband, and then she sees dam, so it's megalal mafreya. It reveals that from the very beginning she didn't really have, she wasn't really tehora, and then it comes out that her husband was bo'el dam nida. So Chazal do not allow such a thing. It's okay if a woman does it, it counts, but Chazal don't allow such a thing. Such a noseh is also expanded upon in Kuf Tzadik Zayin Seif Gimel. Right now we're not going to talk about that also. There's other little pratim. The last day, the 11th day, if she sees dam, the 11th day, does she have to Shomeret Yom Keneged Yom the day after, which is Yud Bet, which is already not Yemei Zivut anymore? That is a machloket Bet Shammai Bet Hillel. What's the gather exactly of Yemei Zivut? When does it come? That's a machloket Rambam Neged Ramban and Rashi. We're not going to get into that also right now, but I'm going to bring it up just because it's something that's mentioned here. I'm mentioning it along the way. But again, the main noseh I'm sticking to. Also, another side noseh, the 10th day. Also, the 10th day that if she sees dam, the 10th day. Right? She can never get to a point where she's a zavak dola. Now I'll talk about zavak dola. If she sees 3 days in a row within the Yemei Zivut, so she's a zavak dola. Now we get to a din Torah that if she's a zavak dola, the din is it's different than a nida. A zavak dola, she is tmeah, right? And the way that it works is very different than a nida. She first has to clean herself completely, make sure that she has no blood. Then she has to count 7 clean days. After she completely cleans herself and has at least 1 day where she's completely clean, which she does a hefsek tahara, in which she checks herself at the end of the day, making sure that she is completely clean. Then the next 7 days she counts, right? Not including the day in which she saw and the day in which she did hefsek tahara. And then after those 7 clean days, she has to check herself every day after she sees that she is completely clean all those 7 days. Then on the eve of the 8th day, she will be tovelet and she is tehora to her husband. That is a zavak dola. Okay, I'm going to go now to the end part. The end part of this siman, the culmination of the siman, the culmination of all these dinim is like this. Nowadays, there's a big problem that Chazal, they saw already from the time of the Talmud. Daf Samech Vav Amud Aleph, they already understood, right? Tanaim, Amoraim, they already understood that there is that women have a certain balagan, keeping track. One's Yemei Nidut, one's Yemei Zivut. Yemei Nidut has different dinim like we spoke out, then Yemei Zivut. They already understood that there's confusion. So they decided like this. There was a few different restrictions that were put upon all of Klal Yisrael, and only one of them we really go by nowadays. So the first restriction was set by Rabbi Basadot. He saw that there was a like we said, like we mentioned previously, the woman has a problem setting up exactly knowing when to count Yemei Zivut and Yemei Nidut, when it starts, when it ends. So he decided like this: a woman sees 1 day, it doesn't matter when. She sees dam 1 day, so she has to count 6 days and that day. She sees 2 days, she has to count 6 days and those 2 days. She sees 3 days, she is like a zavak dola. She needs to count 7 days and those 3 days. That's the rule according to Rebbe. The Rishonim over there already explained. Ran, Rif, Rosh, I think even Ramban, they explain that within Divrei Rebbe, it's clear and it's clear and obvious that she has to wait So that those days, let's say she sees one day, she has to wait 6, we said, those days have to be completely clean also. We just said that a nidah, she could be shofa adam the whole 6 days, and then at the end she's tovelet and everything's okay. They say no, you cannot do such a thing. One of the reasons why is predicated upon another chumrah that we saw already from the time of the Talmud, that we are not biki'im, we are not experts anymore between dam tameh and dam tahor, as is mevor in daf kaf amud bet. That already Amoraim were already saying, I'm not biki'im in dam tameh dam tahor. So if the Amoraim are not biki'im, so we're for sure not biki'im. So already from there, it's already set that we're not biki'im between dam tameh and dam tahor. If that's the case, so since we're not biki'im, if now a woman is shofa adam from day 1 until day 7, and then at the end of day 7 she's tovelet, it could be all those days the dam was tahor, she doesn't even know, and then only the last day was tameh, and she's going to think from the beginning she was tameh, and then she's going to pass all the 7 days thinking that she passed 7 days in nidut, tovelet, and Rahman al-Itzlan, she's going to be with her husband while she has on her still tumat nidah, in which tevilah obviously will not help. For that reason, it was pashut to the Rishonim that we need to have 6 days, those 6 days of Rabbi have to be clean days. Now, on top of that, Rabbi Zera came along and he made another chumrah that he says the second a woman sees a tipat dam kachardel, she sees even a small amount of dam, she has to act like a zavagdola, which we just said, a zavagdola is only within a certain amount of period of time. When she sees 3 days in a row, then she's a zavagdola. In spite of all that, nowadays Rabbi Zera came to us and told us we have to be machmir. The second she sees a tipat dam kachardal, she's going to act like a zavagdola. She has to clean herself, she has to do hafsek tahara, and then she has to do 7 days. And that is the minhag now till today. That's the minhag till today. What's the reason for this? Rosh and the Rif, it sounds like they just understood it was like some type of haraka yetera. But the Ran and the Ramban give more of like a svara. The Ran gives 2 svarot. One svara that he gives is that we're worried that maybe a woman will stumble. There could be times where she says, I saw 2 days. And then Ben Hashmashot, she didn't really pay attention, but she really saw again on Ben Hashmashot. So that's really 3 days. But she thinks it's only 2 days. And then she's going to be noeg like the Nidah of Rebbe maybe, or whatever it is. So that's a problem. That's one reason. Another reason which the Ran liked better is that there are times in which a woman sees a tipat dam and she has to wait 7 days. When is that? If she was already as a vagdola, and then within those 7 days that Shiva Nikim that she has to keep, she saw dam a little bit. So in such a case, that's soter everything that she counted. Let's say she counted 5 days. She sees a little bit of dam. It's soter. It breaks apart everything she did until now. She starts again from new. So he says, because we saw such a thing already, so as not to get confused, we're going to make it that every single tipa that a woman sees at any time is going to have that din. And that's what the Ramban brings ledina. That's what's nifsak lahalacha b'shulchan aruch. And that's basically a sikum from the shorashim, from the roots until halacha l'maaseh, till today. I hope you guys enjoyed. That's the sikum for today. Thank you so much.